Hello, YouTube friends. Again, today I got a community guideline strike. A video of mine was removed. A lowly channel that generally gets no more than 100 views on a video. Well, it's climbing a little bit to 150 maybe, or 160. So YouTube has raced in finally after hundreds of videos where I've been quite contrary to official stories and narratives. I question. I say they're full of shit. This is not true. So I was questioning the beer virus mandates, and I included a description. I think this is what set them off. I think they have their algorithms focused on certain words, and the word I used was in reference to a specific political party that ran Germany from 1933 to 1945 until they were completely decimated, along with all the people and all the infrastructures, and the entire population was left destitute, and it needed the enemy to come in and rescue them with a Marshall Plan and all of that. I refer to that political organization that cannot be mentioned on YouTube now in relation to the beer virus and I think I can say COVID. And the strike was because I wasn't giving sufficient evidence to the contrary, meaning that I can have my argument. You can argue about this not being legitimate, what is happening to us now under all the worldwide government mandates. Certain states are refusing, like Texas, and other states are saying, up yours. Well, maybe you should delete Texas as well because they're in opposition. So my thought is, why is good ship government and YouTube so terrified and afraid of a lowly YouTuber like myself who might have an opinion that is not substantiated by the facts? Well, there has been plenty of evidence, and I left a link below my video, which it linked to a lawyer called h.thomas, a German lawyer who has instigated a class action lawsuit against all the mandates, I think both in Germany and in California. He has the right to practice law in California. I don't know why they always say practice medicine, practice law. That feels like a student is doing it. They should just say conduct their business in whatever place. Anyway, lowly me, I have a strike and they're threatening to take it down. And you know what? Go ahead and take it down. This is inevitable. This looks really bad on you, YouTube. This looks really bad on you. To pick on someone that has virtually no views, you must be really running scared. This is what I'm thinking. They're running scared. Now, am I saying something now that is offensive to the good ship government and good ship massive Queen Mary on the ocean YouTube, making sure that there is no suggestion? All right. And I responded. I said, look, if you're referring to the fact that I associated the idea of a beer virus, of the COVID virus, being related in some way to a political party that ran Germany in 1933 until 1945, then I'm happy. I'm happy actually to change that descriptive to COVID authority. So let's see, maybe that was all. But the evidence that there should be an opposition voice to whatever it is, which is the freedom that usually we think we enjoy this freedom. Well, if you are a lonely voice in the desert like me, and probably many, well, I wouldn't say many other YouTubers, there's quite a number of YouTubers that get enormous number of views, but for some reason, even like somebody like not COVID, like COVID, like Corbett Report, who really kicks the shit out of Bill Gates, one of their poster children of success and meaning in the universe, or other channels. Even who else do I listen to? Well, I hear about the Zach Hubbard fellow who's doing gematria, exposing the bastards through the ritual numbers. He's been guidelined, community guideline. He supposedly has lost, he says, 20. He's been rubbed out 20 times. He's still there. I don't know how that works. I have great suspicions about people claiming to be eradicated from YouTube and then they reappear. There is something peculiar about that, which suggests to me that they really want him to carry on. So let's see. I mean, am I set? Do I need to have this opportunity or this platform? Not really. I'm not making any money on this. I'm not interested in making money on this. Besides, on 100 views, you don't make any money anyway on YouTube. So the YouTube censors have now actually given me a strike and said, I have an opinion that is contrary to the evidence. And then I put underneath a link to a video which shows that there are not only hundreds, but thousands of qualified, highly professionals called lawyers who are now getting together to start proceedings of a class action lawsuit against all the COVID mandates and their holy cow of rightness to somebody in opposition. Now, how could this be ignored or said, no, shut your pie hole. You're not allowed to talk about that. Well, that's all I was saying. And I will change my descriptive from the political party that ruled Germany between 1933 and 1945. That word now has become offensive. Obviously, it is an offense. That entire history, that entire war, that whole propaganda, buoyed up by the banks and the banksters and Prescott Bush making money on the war and giving Hitler and Krupp and Bayer and all these great companies that benefited from the war at the demise of the entire population and millions of people. 55 million people were murdered, killed in this war, not just soldiers, but mostly civilians. That party I'm referring to that was in charge of running the front line of all this sort of cultural civilized behavior. And YouTube now is objecting to someone like me, a lowly painter, someone who has over 50 some years been able to establish a modicum of color management that appears to be quite pleasant to quite a number of people. I mean, a lot of people own my paintings. They like what they see, and I've had some success. Not lately, because the mandates have shut down all cultural activity. As much as I even care about these institutions of our demise, the cultural institutions, the museums, the entire lot, they're all just part of this general mandate to extract the soul out of people. Is that offensive to YouTube as well, to say that the general culture now, the way it's practiced, is an attempt to extract the soul out of people? This is my opinion. Since when am I not allowed to say this? And I said that if they continue with their ridiculous censorship on this very important issue, they're going to become irrelevant to all people of conscience. Now, there aren't many of us, I must say. There aren't many of us, but that doesn't mean the few that are in the fight are actually quite instrumental in steering this ship, this gigantic ship, and getting it to change direction. This is what we're attempting to do, obviously. We want to redirect this ocean liner, this Queen Mary or whatever, this huge ship that imposes itself on every living creature on this planet. Let's turn it around. That's what I'm saying. Let's give it a change of direction. No, it's not appreciated. You'll get a strike. YouTube gives you a strike. Maybe complaining about the strike is valid for another strike, and they'll take me down. So people, what I'm saying is, I don't know how far they take this bullshit, how this censorship continues. I am shocked. I'm not surprised. In certain ways, I'm not surprised because I've been opening my pie hole on the whole Fukushima nuclear issue, this devastating catastrophe that happened that is completely off the radar of any kind of consensual news network or any kind of platform that is out there that should be talking about this gigantic, huge disaster that happened on March 11th, 2011, in a place in Japan, in a place called Fukushima, a nuclear plant. 3 full core melt, ins melt, out melt, sideways melt, over melt everywhere, into the Pacific Ocean everywhere. This has not been addressed in any kind of responsible way. So YouTube, you're irresponsible. You're irresponsible to the very core, just like the governments that prop you up and you in reverse prop up the governments, which is going to end badly for all of us. This is what I was saying, basically in my video, with a little acerbic comparison, not far-fetched, I must say, to a political party that ruled Germany from 1935 to 1945. So YouTube, it's, yes, I consider it a badge of honor. You've finally paid attention to my lowly videos of 100 and less views, and you're continuously extracting subscribers. My subscribers keep going down. They go down 5 and go up 1, and then they go up 2 and they go down 3, and then it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, but the whole mechanisms that are in place. Actually, you know, I have to say, I'm beginning to question not only just the nature of our reality, as I always do. I bring up the idea of existence is a kind of overall or comprehensive blanket that includes the ethereal. Existence could be life, could also be an ephemeral or spiritual part of us, which is existing, meaning that it exists as is, like anything, even though we can't touch it or feel it, it's still there. It's like radio waves. You don't see them, but they're there. So when I say existence, I'm referring to this overarching, very complex mystery that extends beyond the physical world. Now, I've always said, the world is not as it appears to be, and there are many indicators and even mainstream indicators like films, like The Matrix, Matrix, written by a couple of doofus brothers who apparently turned into, they transitioned from male to female, I think, in keeping with the general plot in the directives, in the politically correct directives in our state of this ship of state. This enormous ship of state has directives and certain inclinations towards what we now consider ourselves to be a minority. I feel myself a minority, a white male, retirement age artist. I feel myself a minority. I should be given special attention because I'm not black, I am not transitioned, I'm not tranny, I'm not gay, I'm not female. I am a white male, proud of being a white male, older white male, still functioning pretty well. I mean, I climb 50 stairs up and down every day 2 or 3 times, and I attempt to stay in shape. So no, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet, YouTube. I'm not done yet. So I feel myself a minority because there are no more exhibits by white males in their 60s or 70s. Maybe when you're in your 80s and 90s, maybe there might be a consideration, but I doubt it. So what's my point? My point is reality is not as it appears to be. And this is the objective of any good art, to identify the hidden the hidden aspects of our nature, the times we live in, something we discover maybe 50 years later. Nobody really understands what the hell is going on. When Warhol was walking the planet, they just thought he was a kind of dopey guy, but for some reason he succeeded. There's another curious story here that I might go into at some point, because I don't really think it was a coincidence that Warhol acted the way he did, or Jackson Pollock, the complete opposite to Warhol. The two heroes of the from like 70 years ago or 60 years ago, they're complete opposite end guys, right? So they get promoted. So that in itself is also suspicious. Doesn't mean I don't gain some information and understanding about myself through the behavior of others. I mean, I don't take anything off the table in terms of learning for myself and using in the work that I do and making it more confrontational to my viewing public. I'm sort of chuckling because the reality that we experience is not what it appears to be. And the more we're fixated as people on it being exactly what we think it is, that is the drowning of good ship Earth itself. When we start to actually believe the hooey that we're being fed, that the world is exactly the way we want you to think it is, and there is no arguing about that, that's when the whole thing starts to collapse. And it collapsed many times in history, like in 1945, when that political party that ran that place for 13 years, predicting a 1,000-year empire, which managed to squeeze in 12 years. So, okay. Anyway, this is a heads up that I got to strike. And maybe they're going to review more videos. Maybe they didn't catch the stuff I was saying before. And the next thing you know, I'm going to have bing, 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 bing. So I'll do this quick note to my friends on YouTube. And let's see where this goes. I suggested an alteration in my description from the political party to authority. So let's see what happens. Anyway, I don't even know if I can post this. I'll try it.